Every military operation begins with control of land, control of resources, and most importantly, control of information. History follows the same doctrine. From the earliest empires, rulers understood that the story told to the people was as powerful as any army. Chronicles were written under command, victories were magnified, and defeats were buried deep beneath layers of silence. This was not random, it was calculated strategy. Just as generals planned battlefield deception, leaders shaped historical records to maintain authority. The objective was clear: secure loyalty, eliminate doubt, and create a version of reality that could not be questioned. Over time, these narratives became accepted truth, passed down through generations without resistance. But behind this structured timeline lies an unseen operation, one where truth was filtered, edited, and sometimes completely erased. This is where the first cracks begin to appear, signaling that the official version of history may only be a controlled perspective rather than the full account. Once control of the narrative is established, the next phase in any strategic system is containment. In historical terms, this means suppressing anything that challenges the official story. Across different eras, discoveries have emerged that do not align with accepted timelines, ancient structures that defy explanation, artifacts that suggest advanced understanding, and records that contradict established beliefs. These anomalies represent a threat, not because they are dangerous, but because they disrupt control. In a military framework, such information would be classified, restricted, or discredited. And that is exactly what has often happened. Findings are dismissed as myths, labeled as errors, or quietly removed from mainstream discussion. The public rarely sees the full picture, only what is approved for release. This phase ensures stability of the narrative, preventing confusion and maintaining authority. But the existence of these suppressed elements raises an unavoidable question: if history were truly complete, why would there be a need to hide anything at all? Beyond the visible battlefield lies a deeper layer of operations, covert missions that are never officially acknowledged. History is filled with wars and conflicts, but not all of them are declared or documented. Intelligence agencies and military units operate in secrecy, executing strategies that remain hidden from public view. These operations can shape global events without ever being recognized in official records. Soldiers carry out missions that may never be credited, and decisions are made that influence entire nations without public awareness. Even when fragments of these operations are revealed years later, the information is often incomplete, carefully controlled to protect larger interests. This creates a parallel history, one that exists alongside the official version but remains largely invisible. It is a history of silence, where actions are taken without acknowledgement and consequences unfold without explanation. Understanding this phase reveals that what we know about past conflicts may only represent a fraction of what actually occurred. After establishing control and suppressing opposition, the next phase focuses on influence, shaping how people think, believe, and remember. Psychological warfare becomes the primary tool. Through controlled narratives, media influence, and strategic messaging, perception itself is managed. This is not limited to times of war, it extends into peacetime, embedding itself into education, culture, and collective memory. People come to accept certain versions of history not because they have verified them, but because they have always been presented that way. In military strategy, controlling the mind can be more effective than controlling territory. By guiding belief, leaders ensure stability and reduce resistance. Information is not always falsified, it is curated. Certain truths are highlighted, while others remain hidden. Over generations, this creates a powerful effect, a population that believes it fully understands its past, while in reality, it has only been exposed to a carefully constructed version of it. This phase ensures that the narrative remains intact, even as time moves forward. No operation is ever truly complete, and the same applies to history. What we know today is not the final version, it is an evolving narrative, still being shaped by new discoveries and shifting perspectives. Documents once classified are slowly revealed, hidden stories begin to surface, and voices that were once ignored are finally heard. But this process is gradual, controlled, and often incomplete. For every truth uncovered, there may be many more that remain concealed. This is the final phase, the realization that history is not a fixed record, but an ongoing operation. It is influenced by power, shaped by perspective, and limited by what is allowed to be known. Understanding this does not mean rejecting history, it means questioning it, analyzing it, and recognizing its complexity. The real secret is not a single hidden fact, but the awareness that there is always more beneath the surface. And as new layers are uncovered, the story of humanity continues to evolve, unfinished, and far more complex than it was ever meant to appear.